First Koopalings, we're going to be comparing our Ludwigs. This is the first one they made, this one. And then there's the second one. The main difference is the face. This one's snout, if you turn them sideways, comes out longer than that one. And the hair, this one's hair is small, not as wide, and it's kind of bunched up. And the shell's a little different. This one's orange around the spikes. Isn't as dark as this. I mean, this one's a lot lighter. And their scepters, this one looks like it's a lot taller, or the way he's holding it. And their face just looks a little different. And this one's a little shorter than this one. And the feet's longer, and that one's a little shorter. So that's the main difference in Ludwigs. Now let's go on to the Mortons. Now Mortons aren't that much different, really. See, the face is just a little different. Notice how this one's got like that little line under his eyebrow, and this one doesn't have it. And if you turn them sideways, I think this one's snout's shorter, or I don't know. But their shells are different. See? Well, they're not very different at all. They're really similar. And their heads are a little different. But anyhow, this is the newer one they made, and that's the first one. And their scepters, I think they're not very different at all, except this one's just got more gray around it than the top than that one. And this one's darker, his skin, that's the main difference, I think. See, look at the skin difference on their bodies, how this one's a lot lighter than that one. But otherwise, they're not that much different. And next, we'll get the Larry's. Okay. The main difference in these is the eyes. Notice how this one's eyes are kind of a little off, and that one's perfectly even. And their hair is a little lighter. This one's lighter than that one. See, now that's the first one, and this is one of the newer ones. And the scepter, the way he holds it's different, and it looks kind of longer. And the toes, his little feet are a little different than that one's. And then their shells, this one's got a lot larger spikes. The newer one has bigger spikes than this one. These are a lot smaller. And the color again, the light blue is lighter than this one. And their stars, I don't know if that's a star tattoo or what, or just a birthmark. Again, the same difference. This one's darker than that one. Otherwise, they're not much different. And most of that is just mainly the coloring and the eyes in this one. But that's about it in the Larry's. And then now we'll go to Lemmy's. The main difference in the Lemmy's is pretty obvious to notice. That's the old one, and this is the new one. The difference is mainly, the main one's the hair. Notice this one's hair is like that. This one starts out small in the front, but then on the back side of the one that his hair starts out small. So basically, on the newer one, they put the hair on backwards, and the hair is a lot lighter color. And the eyes too. This one's about perfectly straight, and even these are a little off. One comes up further than the other. And also the coloring, this one's a little darker than this one. And the scepters, this one stands straight up, that one bends over like that. And their feet, this one again's like the Larry, the toes, but their feet are both really small. In the back, not much difference, except this one's ponytail, I guess that's what it is longer, I think. And their shells, again, lighter colors. And their spikes are about the same size. Just like unlike the Larry's, they're pretty different. And otherwise, there's not much different. But that's the main differences between the Lemmy's. And now we'll move on to the Wendy's. Now neither of these are the first ones we kind of got them later and we couldn't find the first one, so, but they're a little different. Notice this, I think this one's like in between and that one's the newest one. Notice the difference, the head shape. This one's head's kind of pushed up more than this one's, and its eyes come up further than this one's. And the bow, this one's bow sticks up more than this one. The necklaces aren't much different at all, and the mouth's not either. And the scepters, not really, and the arms, about the exact same. And the feet, and not much different like on the side. In the back, their shells aren't very different, except this one's spikes are bunched up more than that one's. So these windies aren't that much different, either one. They're not very different. Okay, and now let's move on to the Roys. The Roys, the main difference is the head. This one's kind of like pushed down more than that one. And the sunglasses, these are like more of a hot pink, and these are red. And the scepter on this one's like bending over, and then this one sticks up. And then their coloring is a little different on their shells. That's the old one, and this is the new one. The new one's, yeah, that's the old one, and this is the new one. Anyhow, the shell on this one's darker purple than this one, and the spikes, like the things around their spikes, are kind of sticking up little, unlike that one's, they're laying perfectly flat. They're not that much different, except for the color's a little darker on this one on some stuff, and the way the scepter is. So, and their feet, not really much of a difference. That's basically it for the Roys. The last ones are the Iggy's. And this is the first one, and that's the newer one. Now this one, when we got it, his glasses were kind of like this part right here was in between his eyes, and those were under him. But we fixed it so it looked better, more like that one. But that's the main difference, was the eyes, but we fixed it. And the teeth on this one, for some reason, are like side. And this one's like a lighter green. Look at the tops of their hair, lighter. And then their shells. This one's spikes are actually bigger than this one's, and and they're spaced out. This one's shell's kind of bigger, and they're lighter color. And the scepters aren't very different, and neither are the feet, except I think this one's feet are a little bigger. And their eyes aren't much different except for the glasses, but we kind of fixed that problem with them. And they all have that same tag on them. There's not much of that difference in them, so that's our Koopalings. There's 14 exactly, and Bowser Jr. doesn't count. He's not a Koopaling. So that's about it. They'll be in some videos, and you'll see why there's two of them. Due to one of our videos, we'll see why there's two. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.